Okay, 0 Kaizer Chiefs, 1 golden arrows. The bigger question is, how did the Kaizer Chiefs lose this one? Greetings, everybody. Welcome to Nevertheless Commentaries. Igama lami ngiwusipho Ndlovu. Ngiyanamukela kakhulu. Thank you for supporting the channel. And please don't forget to have your comment in the comment section. The approach arrows bewe 43 by Coach Pitso Dladla. And with the cruise on the other end, it was a 1-4, 2-3-1. What was surprising for me, the approach at the cruise was opting for a false number 9 with Utuba and then leave an out and out striker like Igor Daro and some of the strikers that the Kaizer Chiefs do have. Taking from the point that Arrows love to build from the back using Umabasa, Nochiane, and stretching up ama wingers, ama fullbacks wabo as wing backs okuwucele no Shays. So I was hoping that Uda Cruz will opt for an out and out number 9 to ensure that he harasses the Arrows on a build-up phase. Because if you put in a false number 9, that means then your front four will play in between the lines. Nobody will actually press the Arrows on a build-up phase. In isolated incidents, we saw Tuba does it, but since he's a false number 9, he didn't do it throughout the match or throughout actually his minutes in that field of play. So that gave the Arrows space to actually build from the back and then use their incredible player Uzwan. Very, very good. Very, very good on the ball, high on confidence, skillful, and I think he's a complete midfielder. He's one midfielder that you need to look out for this season. That is Uzwan from Golden Arrows. Very, very good in terms of dropping in on the build-up phase, receiving baller and 10. Between the front four Kaizer Chiefs, he doesn't have a problem if there's 2 men in his back. Well, Taylor, I'll receive it, and then he turns, and then he plays those forward passes. Now, if you look at the match, Kaizer Chiefs was playing at home. So they were the aggressor in this match. And the Arrows sit back on a low block and then played on transition. But while they were playing on transition, you could see the way Uzwane, Udlamin, Makwele, is synergy yabo. You could see that if they want to actually take control of the match, they could. But they knew that they were playing away. In the case, the Chiefs was very, very threatening. So they sat back and played on transition. Now, if you look at how the game actually began, the Kaizer Chiefs actually set a tone by taking the authority, taking the game to Golden Arrows. And the Golden Arrows struggled a little bit to actually match the Kaizer Chiefs in terms of the energy and in terms of the pace. So that gave the Kaizer Chiefs an advantage moving forward. And I think a player like Vilakazi was very, very instrumental up front on the wing play. And also Njobo gotten some brilliant opportunities inside the 6-yard area where he could have capitalized on those opportunities. But unfortunately, he missed those opportunities. And I think it was 2 times inside the 6-yard area, right in front of goal. And those opportunities, he failed to convert them. So in a way, the strategy started the Cruz to play with the false number 9 worked to some degree, but decision making on the final third, I think that's what let Kaizer Chiefs down. Looking at the number of chances that they created inside that box and failed to convert those chances. And I think Bartman took a minute. It took a minute for him to actually get into the game and find his groove and truly challenge Ushes. And I think Ushes was very, very smart in terms of how he dealt with those 1v1 situations. He forces Bartman always to play a negative pass. Always to play a negative pass. I think there were only 2 times where Bartman, where he took the ball and actually try and challenge Ushes. And in one of those 2 instances, he almost created a scoring opportunities. But as I was saying, a decision making of the Kaizer Chiefs inside that box, I think it wasn't spot on. And I was surprised Uguti Unlobo was played ahead of Umtu Shabalala, because Umtu Shabalala was one of the key players of the Kaizer Chiefs last season. And he was very, very instrumental in terms of how Kaizer Chiefs play on that final third. But it looks like Uta Cruz Finally, after so many seasons of Ngcobo, Nkosi Mpilo Ngcobo, Kaizer Chiefs, look like this is the coach who will know how to use Ngcobo in a right way. But the question is, will Ngcobo take that opportunity and grab it by your own hands, appreciate it, and deliver? Now, that's the question that will be answered as the season progresses. Vilakazi on the other eight and the other winger, incredible as always. Incredible as always. And I think he's one of the players that I saw in this game. And I was like, okay, there's something here. And I think somehow the Cruz, or somehow these Kaizer Chiefs players want to play for Uda Cruz. It could be some factors, probably in terms of our personnel, the quality of the players themselves. Maybe that may let down the Kaizer Chiefs into the season. But what I saw here, there were a lot of positives that the Kaizer Chiefs can take from this game, though they lost it. How they lost it? Arrows playing on transition on the second half. But the bowler is sent because they were exploiting as they activated the wing back swabo uCele no Shays by Udlamini to sit there in the middle and allow Gianna to spread Benomabas and Udlamini sit in the middle and activate wing back swab. That's how Golden Arrows got a goal, because using Umakwele, he then find Ushays on a space that he cheated behind the frost. And when he was down the line, Peterson became proactive by anticipating a cross in, and he moved before Ushays played that ball. And Ushays was so smart that he saw that mistake that was done by Peterson, and he decided to pass it into the net. It was very, very smart of Ushays to actually see Peterson is making a move, anticipating a cross, and then he didn't play a cross, he just passed the net. And it was very, very hard for Peterson to actually make a swift turn to actually save that ball. I think that's the only mistake the Chiefs did by moving too early off Peterson, and they capitalized on that. Other than that, I think the Chiefs had a decent game. It could be better, but they had a decent game, and I think Quinica and Inesio Miguel played very, very well. There's this new guy which is number 22, was playing alongside Mabo in the middle. I think they also played very, very well, but they are yet to be tested, because if you look at this game, Golden Arrows was sitting back, allowing Kaizer Chiefs to have control of the ball, willing to suffer as a team, but also when they get out on transition, they were willing to actually use Fanil on the other end, or Ukumalo, who was following Dion as a number 10, sometimes Umakwele on the outer wing. So I think strategy Sabo to play on the transition, I think it was spot on, and it worked for them. It won them in game. So Golden Arrows is through to the MTN 8 semi-final, where they will face Mamelodi Sundowns. First, Mamelodi Sundowns will play at home, and then the second leg, Golden Arrows will be in Durban, hosting Mamelodi Sundowns. With what Arrows displayed here, if they can bring the same discipline towards game Mamelodi Sundowns, there may be something that you can see that is beautiful on that match. And we know that Coach Pitso Dladla has proven that he's a coach of a high caliber, because last season he won a silverware with the Durban City, which is the Nedbank Cup. Nedbank Cup is a little bit longer, but if you look at MTN 8, it's only a couple of games, a few games, I mean to say, and then you get 10 million. Can he repeat what he did with the Durban City last season, do it with the Golden Arrows this season? If he can do that and achieve it, that will actually cement him as one of the great coaches that we have that are homegrown within the country, because he would have achieved something that no coach has achieved before by winning a cup, 2 cups consecutively with 2 teams from a KZN. That is unheard of. That should be history on its own. Looking at the other picture, Isekukune beat Amazulu with 4 goals to 3 with extra time. and Isikhukhune will host the Orlando Pirates on the first leg. On the second leg, unfortunately, they are going to Escotini to play Pirate Orlando Amstel Arena. I think that's going to be explosive. That's going to be explosive. So out of that fixture, is Sekhukhune versus Orlando Pirates on two-legged fixture, and also Sundowns versus the Arrows on two-legged fixture. May the best team win, and I'm hoping good from that point we will see explosive football because players will have had some minutes in their games because the league would have progressed a little bit. As you know, that there's some fixtures on Tuesday and Wednesday, and also over the weekend. Then we are yet to hear when these semi-finals are going to be played. So in terms of a minute to players, they will be there by the time semi-final is played. So that promises explosiveness, high competitive games. So I can't wait to see that. So thank you very much. This is Nevertheless Commentaries. Igama lami ngiSipho Ndlovu. Ngiyanibonga kakhulu ngokusupport Nevertheless Commentaries. So qhubeka njalo nesibuka ama-games. And then sihlaziye la singakwazi ukuhlaziya khona and leave la singasikwazi ukuhlaziya khona. Thank you for supporting us. Stay blessed. Love you so much. Oh, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe. Subscribe.